Hi, I'm attorney Ben Schwartz. Today we're going to answer a viewer question. It's actually a question that comes up a lot for me in my personal injury / criminal law practice. And the question is, I just want to get a settlement. Why do I need to hire a lawyer to do that? And I'll tell you, here's the context that this question comes up in for me. It comes up in a lot of personal injury cases where, maybe the client comes to me and I hear this all the time. They say, I'm not the type of person that goes around suing anybody. I got rear-ended in a car accident, I'm injured, and I know I have legal rights, but I'm just looking to get a settlement out of the at-fault driver's insurance company. I'm not looking to file a lawsuit and make this a federal case or make this case go to the Supreme Court. What do I need to hire a lawyer for if I'm just trying to get a settlement? I also hear this in the context of criminal cases. We've got an attorney in the office that handles a huge amount of DUI cases, and I talk to him. He tells me he hears the same thing. People say, look, I know I've been charged with a crime, and I know I need to get an attorney to get some guidance, but I'm not looking to hire an attorney to go to a jury trial and spend a week in trial. I just want to get this thing settled, and I just want to get a plea and take a plea, resolve it, and avoid jail time. And the answer is that if you're thinking that you just want to get a settlement, or you're thinking, well, I'm just going to get a plea and wrap this up, you're putting the cart before the horse, to be blunt. The ability to get a settlement, a fair settlement, or a reasonable settlement in a personal injury case is almost all the time based on your ability to go all the way through trial and appeal and have a winning case. An insurance company is going to pay that settlement. Settlements in personal injury cases come from insurance companies. Well, the insurance company is not going to pay you anything they don't have to pay you. It's not like they are going to deal with you directly and say, oh, gee, you haven't gotten an attorney and you haven't followed any of the steps necessary to present a claim. You're not a jury trial lawyer. You're not prepared to file a lawsuit and go the distance, but let us deal with you fairly. It just doesn't work that way. Insurance companies respond to power. If you have the power to file the lawsuit, you have the power to go to a trial, you have a power to get a winning verdict, and you have the power to keep that verdict even though the insurance companies paid a team of attorneys to file an appeal and go that distance, go through that process, then you have the power to get a settlement. And in a criminal case, you may be thinking, well, I just want to get a plea. Well, the prosecutor is there to represent the state interest, not represent your interest. The prosecutor is there to get the maximum amount of justice. And when you talk to criminal prosecutors, whether they're federal prosecutors or state level prosecutors, when they are seeking justice, they are acting in several roles, but they are acting as an advocate for their client, and their client is the state or federal government. And so there are very few prosecutors who are looking to give you a reduced jail time sentence. There are very few prosecutors who are looking to help you. They're looking at the case and they're trying to figure out what is a reasonable sentence or what is a reasonable resolution. And their idea of justice and their idea of what is a reasonable resolution oftentimes is going to conflict with what you, the accused, or you, the family member of the accused, thinks would be justice or thinks would be reasonable. So the ability to get a favorable plea in a criminal case many times comes down to, did you file the proper motions to suppress evidence? Have you taken the steps to pare down or whittle down the state's case? Have you done a thorough investigation and investigated all their witnesses? Have you prepared the case for trial? Is there leverage? I think that's the key to this, is it's leverage. If you have leverage in a personal injury case, you'll be presented with the opportunity to get a decent settlement. If you have leverage in a criminal case, you'll be presented with the opportunity to get a favorable plea bargain or a dismissal. Without leverage, you got nothing. So I tell people all the time that contact me and say, well, I just want to get a settlement, or I just want to resolve this in a plea. You're not talking about getting leverage and executing on the leverage in order to get a good result. You're talking about, buckling under and hoping that the insurance company lawyers or the insurance company claims adjusters or the criminal prosecutors take pity on you. That's not what we do. You should hire a lawyer so that the lawyer is prepared to go the distance, the full distance. And by being prepared to go the full distance and by working the case up for trial, that's how you develop leverage, and that's how cases settle and pleas are reached or charges are dismissed. So I just want to say that this is a question that comes up for me all the time. I've given you the context in which it comes up in. If you come to me and you say, well, I don't know if I want to file a lawsuit, or I don't know if I want to go the distance, in my legal case, I just want to settle it, understand this is where I'm coming from. And any quality attorney that you go to, if you take the same approach, they're going to tell you, well, we've got to work the case to get leverage to get you a good result. And so I think it's helpful to know where your lawyer's coming from. Hope that answers the question. I think that was a little more answer than the question probably was intended to elicit, but that's what it comes down to. It comes down to the power you derive by having leverage. I'm attorney Ben Schwartz. If you've got a question for me, please feel free to send me an email. My email address is ben.schwartz@schwartzandschwartz.com. Thanks for watching.